I'm Matt Logan, the host of This Matters in Real Life.
Sorry. I'm sorry. We thought you were someone else.
During the recording of the following podcast, no Democrats, Republicans, actors, chemists, dogs, cats, well, you get the idea, were harmed. However, it has been said some have been offended by the opinions seen and heard here. Oh, and please remember to pull clips out of context.
I have a question. Who decides when and where honor is due?
That's a very good question.
Let's talk about it.
I think that we should introduce, everybody already knows who I am.
Oh, goodness.
Says the humble. No. The reason they know is because I already probably did my little intro.
And it's your show.
In the editing. But anyway, go ahead.
Greg Ugland, thanks for having me.
Naomi Saylor, likewise.
Thanks for being here again. It's been really fun off-camera conversations and stuff too. So
Sure.
we'll actually put this on camera, a lot of them, but it's not like we can't talk about what we talk about off camera.
Right.
It's a lot of fun though. Recently though, I've been a little discouraged on a few things, and so I'm going to take the heat on this episode, and we're going to dig into this because my daughter died in a car crash 10 years ago, and there's been many opportunities for myself to be honored unjustly. In my opinion, I have accepted some awards that I felt that I did the thing to earn the award or whatever, the honor. But I have an issue with people that aren't congruent, and I have an issue with how disrespectful people are to positions, whether you agree with my position and you're disrespectful to me. It's my position. Let's talk about it. Yeah. I'm very willing to do that. So, there's some things that have been said about Congressman Jim Hagedorn and his death. He died of cancer roughly a month ago. About 3 weeks ago.
Sure.
Yeah. And so it's just been really sad to see, there's been things on social media that I pulled up again, I remember seeing, and they're laughing at people that, are just respecting and honoring his position, and even some people honoring him as a person, and the kind of negative things that are being said out of complete disrespect for a human being is really hard for me to swallow. So who decides this? Who decides who can be honored, who can't be honored, when it's due, when it's not due, all those interesting things.
Hey everybody, just really quick, if you haven't done so yet, go ahead and hammer the like button. Okay, thanks a lot. We appreciate it. Now back to the show.
It's a very good question. The background to this for people that maybe aren't from the area is our city hall was lit up in honor of the Jim Hagedorn's position as a legislator for southern Minnesota.
Lengthy position that he held too, wasn't it?
He held it since 2018.
I can't remember how. A couple of
He was
he was two
terms.
terms.
Yeah.
2 terms, yeah.
Yep.
For quite a while, I thought.
Yep. And whether you agreed with his political stances or not, whether you agreed with his personal statements and opinions or not, I think that City Hall was lit up in honor of his service to the country as a representative for our area of the state. But that, of course, was twisted, and the mayor was attacked for her using the city facility to honor his position. And the irony in that is just mind-blowing.
Well, the irony in that, too, is she's honoring a person that, as far as I can tell, in the different policies that she's made and the policies that I'm aware of his as well, they did not agree or align politically in any fashion.
Not at all. And one of the comments that I saw about this, and I thought it really fit, and it came from a military veteran, and he said, when you salute a superior, you're honoring the position, not the person.
Yeah.
So you don't have to agree with what somebody has done or not done in their career, but when they're an elected official at that level, this isn't a city council member. This is somebody that represented, 1 million people
Right.
in our federal
Congress.
government. It's a pretty honorable position, whether you feel that he honored that seat or not. That's a whole other conversation. But and I don't agree with a lot of the mayor's policies either, but I think that she made the right decision. If a state Supreme Court judge passed away, I would expect City Hall to be lit.
Yeah.
What thins out that respect is when they light it for everything.
Right. Waters it down.
Right.
It completely waters it down. And I think that's where the mayor needs to be careful on what it is and what it isn't lit for. And she's been called out to, well, you have to have a policy of what does and what doesn't qualify. Well, I'm involved with a group where we have a mission scope, and it's 2 pages long of what we do and don't do, but you always have exceptions. You always have things that you've never thought about.
Yeah.
So what it comes down to is it the right thing to do or not?
Well, and he was very involved in this area. He was close to a lot of people in the Rochester community, and was well known and really very friendly. And I mean, I met him so many years ago, and I literally had no idea what side of the aisle he was running, in, if that makes sense. I don't know if I'm saying that correctly, but I just didn't, I met him out in public at something. It's like, I didn't know, and you see parades, you got the signs and seeing him running through, I had no idea. It's like, I had to look it up. I had to find out. So to me, he wasn't, yes, he was strong in what he believed and blatant, but he was very humble in that position as a leader. I believe he lived in Blue Earth, Minnesota, so it's kind of somewhere between here and South Dakota. But
Yeah. Blue Earth is not far away, and so I think he did come to this area quite a bit, and I think medical treatment as well.
Yeah, he was being seen at Mayo.
Yeah.
So, and it's, there were some quotes that were pulled up that he made about Senator Wellstone in regards to Wellstone's death. And I don't know if they were true or not. If they were true, they weren't appropriate things to say. But that's not why you don't honor somebody's position because they said something negative in the past.
Right.
yeah,
So, but yet these same people were honoring a criminal 2 years ago. So that's where the irony is deafening to me, is you don't want to honor somebody that served our country, but you want to honor somebody that was a career criminal that died in a horrible way, but he was a career criminal and he wasn't doing anything good for his neighborhood or his community or his state or country. So that to me is why this is so ironic.
It's a difficult thing to swallow when you can't be congruent on things, and when I was looking at his wife's post. That's how I came across the whole thing. Is there was just a lot of hateful things that were being said. There was a lot of she was mourning, a lot of things that were. And I don't know who she is and what she represents or what she's done or whatever, but. Someone that is grieving, there's a time and a place that you can have a conversation with and say, hey, I don't believe this was the right thing for you to do in the past or whatever else. But when you're in a moment of grieving and things, to be so disrespectful in that manner is just not right. Yeah. And this whole thing is, it shines a light on really the state of what people think of another person that doesn't align 100% with them.
Absolutely.
It's not a good state to be in.
No.
And I'm not talking the state of Minnesota. I'm talking about the state of mind that, there's literally malice involved on another human being because there was 5 things you didn't agree with.
it ties into what we talked about on another show, and You're supposed to, a wise thing to do is to show honor where honor's due. We expect it in the classroom from kids and to the teacher, right? They're supposed to behave. They're supposed to sit right and be quiet and all this and that. Yet somehow as adults, towards politicians or congressmen, senators, why are we not showing honor to them and having peaceful conversations or sending emails or calling them, and talking respectfully, getting your point across, but yet keeping it honorable.
I think something that when you look at in conversations I've had with Congress people, in fact, let me just say this made the news, so it's very public. I had a conversation with Governor Dayton a number of years ago. I didn't agree and I didn't accept his offer. I didn't agree with what he was trying to do. It didn't align with, and it was involved in how my daughter died was a distracted driving crash. And I didn't agree with what his administration wanted to do with it. And so I said, respectfully, let's take a picture together. We can do this piece of it together because I agree with this, but the rest of it, I'm sorry, I can't. And that's okay.
That's right.
And that's what I see. That's what I saw of Jim when I did read some of the things. Full transparency. I reached out to him 2 years ago-ish to be on the show, and he declined. And that's okay. I've reached out to hundreds of people. This is a small show. I get that. But the idea of it is to have, it was on a different show than this one specifically, but the idea is to have these conversations with people. I would love to have conversations with people that disagree with me, but over and over and over again, they decline. I keep giving the invitation and they decline. And so when you see somebody like this and you see the real hateful things that are happening, I think it's really important to understand if you're not willing to sit down and have that conversation, you have very little place to destroy someone on a human level.
Right. I mean, over these last 2 years, we've had multiple hundreds of chances to disagree with people.
Yeah.
Right. And man, it showed some character and what was in people. And I don't know. It has been in my power to be kind and honorable to managers at stores. And I mean, even recently, 3-4 weeks ago, I'll just be totally open on this, just attending a school board meeting. And my friend just wanted to have a chance to talk. And she wasn't allowed to because she wouldn't go with the set of values and the policies.
Wouldn't bend the knee to that particular king.
And so good for her. So I just, I help stand with her in solidarity. Really, it's like she feels like this is right for her. I'm going to help you, But I still was very honorable to the people who are trying to enforce the policies and stuff. Videos were put on Twitter and people watch, and even our beautiful mayor, she had a good comment on what happened that night. And, it's like, it's funny because a few people stood up and said, hey, even though she was upset about whatever, she was still respectful to all the people, people that were
The board.
Yeah, just the people in the hallway that were trying to enforce everything. It's like I can still have conversations with people I don't believe what they believe, their values and stuff, and be honorable to them and thank them. And you don't have to get crazy dirty and malice, like you said. That word keeps coming up, and people think debate means constant insults.
Yeah.
It doesn't. It just means talking it out and come to your own conclusion and have a fun day.
And there is a place, I think, for making why don't we call it a monologue statement. I think there's a place for that.
Sure.
But I think that in most cases, there needs to be also a place of communication, and that is a dialogue.
Yep.
And so because there's so much nuance to different things that we have as views. We have to live on this planet together, and the reality is when you have when you completely block somebody else out, and when you completely say, nope, it's got to be my way or no way.
Right.
What does that create? That really, honestly, ultimately creates war.
Yep.
And that's no good for anybody.
Right.
That's kind of my point is that having this kind of disrespect that we're seeing on someone's death, you want to go have a beer with the boys and do that, and your own little echo chamber, go for it. That's fine. When you're gonna do something publicly with this kind of malice, I think that talks a lot to like you said earlier, a character of a person.
Last summer, sorry, sir,
No,
interrupt
go
you.
ahead.
In August, we had a real beautiful ceremony at Soldiers Field. And Mr. Jim, respectfully, Congressman Jim Hagedorn was there to be part of the speaking. Maybe I should send you the link for that YouTube.
Yeah.
So it was put together pretty quickly, this event, and it was to honor the 13 fallen in Afghanistan. And it was, of course, it was downtown. My husband and I were the MC for the ceremony, and it was just awesome. It was great. He did an excellent job, and he really spoke out of his heart, I felt like, and his love for our country and for military, and it was awesome. And people from the whole city, the mayor was there actually. She came out and several other people in the area, and it was a great time. And it showed a lot of people that, you know what, even though we may not agree on a bunch of stuff, we still are pretty concerned that we lost American citizens.
Yeah, and American citizens that were defending the freedom of America.
That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it was very cool. I mean, it's not a great term for this, but it was a nice way
It was
to
a heartwarming experience.
well, I'm saying like it was a great way to show honor where honor was due.
Yeah.
And I thought that everyone involved did an excellent job, and that was Congressman Jim did a great job.
That might be a good way to wrap this up. Thanks everybody for joining us.
Hey, I know that there's a lot of things to be critical of me for, and I accept that. I've not always made the best decisions, but I've always tried to learn. I've always tried to not repeat mistakes, and we do that by conversation. That's how it starts. Finding solutions through conversation.
Hey everybody, thanks for listening to this conversation that I just had. I was very honored to be a part of it, honored to be the host of This Matters in Real Life. I think it's extremely important to cover a lot of different things and topics and get people's opinions. When my daughter died in the car crash 10 years ago, I said that's what I would do. I would look at the answers, I would look at the truth, and I would make sure that they would intersect. They would not divorce each other. It's so often that we want answers that are not the truth. We want answers that are comfortable. We want answers that make us feel good. Well, there's a lot of things in life that it's not the case. So who am I? Well, I am you. I'm no different than you are. I eat and sleep and, all the different things. Same thing that you do. I hurt. I feel joy. I've had a lot of experience, probably just like you. I work hard, probably just like you. One of the things that you can do to support us is go to shinybrandmerch.com, where you'll see things like the sweatshirt that I have on. I'm a full-time, a truck driver. What do I deliver? Well, I deliver trucks. It's a little bit different of a gig than a normal truck driver, yes, but I am what would be considered a commercial vehicle transport specialist. So about 5 to 6 days a week, I deliver trucks. I get into a truck, I go 2,000 miles, I deliver it to its new owner, I get on an airplane and I go find another one. Nothing real glamorous unless you make it that way. And I've decided that I would have a lot of conversations along the way, and some of those conversations I'll be able to share with you. Again, hey, thanks for your support. Appreciate you. We'll see you next time.